is Eric Sloef at the VMworld 2013. We are at the Solution Exchange, and I'm at the booth at SanDisk, and I'm joined by Rich Peterson. Hi Rich, how are you?
Very good, thanks for coming by.
Everyone knows SanDisks for their portable media. When I think of SanDisk, I don't immediately think about integration with ESXi or VMware, but there is also FlashSoft. FlashSoft is the product that can enhance storage performance. Can you explain me a little bit more?
Sure, be glad to. As you said, most people know SanDisk due to the fact that for 25 years we've been delivering innovations in flash technology, and those have primarily been delivered into the consumer space. So people know us for SD cards, USB sticks, things like that. And what we're really talking about today is what we're doing for the enterprise customer, both in terms of our hardware solutions, enterprise SSDs that install in servers and storage systems, as well as our software. And we're really focusing at VMworld Europe on the FlashSoft software, which really enables the enterprise customer to get the most value from solid state storage and solid state technology.
So when you say the most value from solid state storage, do I have to use the FlashSoft software with SanDisk storage, or is it storage independent?
That's a really good question, because what we find is that our customers they want to consider the entire spectrum of solid state hardware options. Yet at the same time, they're very interested in using a single software platform for the acceleration across their entire virtualized computing environment. And that's why FlashSoft software can be used with any vendor's solid state device. So of course we encourage people to try it with SanDisk hardware whenever possible, but there's no restrictions.
Can you show me a bit of the architecture on the whiteboard? How does it work in the back? Yeah.
So I've put a little sketch here, and what we can show you is basically that this is your typical virtualized infrastructure. So if you look at a virtualized infrastructure, of course you have VMs on an ESXi host running over a SAN with VMDKs in storage. Now the challenge, of course, for most virtual computing environments is that the storage performance is the key bottleneck for application performance and for VM density. So the question is, for all of our customers, how do I improve storage performance without implementing changes in my storage systems? In general, they're happy with the storage that they've got. They just need better I/O performance. They need to reduce the latency between the ESXi host and the underlying storage across the SAN. And that's where FlashSoft comes in. FlashSoft installs inside the ESXi operating system as a loadable kernel module. So it's the only installation that's required. There's nothing installed in the VM.
So when you want to deploy the software onto an ESXi host, can I use the update manager, or do I have to use something different like an install script?
It basically installs with a simple install script, yes.
Okay, so maybe you can tell me how the data flows from the virtual machine to the VMDK.
Sure. So basically, as everybody knows, the virtual machines are accessing data on VMDK files in storage, and the challenge really is the acceleration of the access to the data from the VMDK files. So FlashSoft installs as a loadable kernel module within the host, and it identifies per VMDK the data that's being most frequently accessed. So for example, if you're a database administrator and you want your data volume to be on one VMDK or one virtual disk, and you want log files on a separate one, that's a very typical deployment. But what's very important is the ability to select whether you will accelerate everything or only accelerate certain volumes. And FlashSoft gives you that capability because we basically select per VMDK and per virtual disk what will be accelerated and what will not.
And what do you mean with acceleration? Is it a read cache, or is it also a write back cache?
Right. So in the ESXi version of FlashSoft, it's deployed as a read cache, and basically that optimizes the access of data from the VMDK files within storage.
Right. Okay, that looks interesting. Can you show us the proof and the pudding? Can you show us a demo where we can see the difference between a system without acceleration and a system with acceleration?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So what we're looking at here is really, and we bring along this little kit, I don't know if you want to zoom out at all, but what we bring along, we actually bring along the servers with the SSDs installed and FlashSoft running as a cache, and we're literally accessing spinning disks from storage here. And so the workload itself is just a standard benchmark that sort of executes an enormous number of reads, as many as possible. And on a second VM, we're running iometer to sort of show the impact and the differential in terms of how quickly data can be read from storage. So as you can see, in a conventional setup that we have here, we're accessing data at 700 to 800 IOPS, which is more or less what one would expect when you're reading data off 6 spinning disks. But with an SSD installed in the other server, we're able to run the same benchmark application on one VM, and on a second VM, we're just running iometer over here, and you see we're in excess of 70,000 IOPS. So it's a very, very substantial difference in performance. And granted, this is for demonstration purposes, so everything's going to be different for every customer. But the most important reason for this demonstration is not just to show the greater performance. We all love greater performance and think it's exciting, but we also want to talk about how our customers save money in their storage infrastructure. Because when you're caching your hot data on the SSD, you're going to be able to increase the performance of your existing storage.
So because there's less contention, the existing virtual machines don't have to compete with the machines that are hosted on SSD, and they get more IOPS from the existing normal storage, you mean?
That's exactly right. The real message is that if you're happy with your storage in every respect except for its performance, that doesn't mean you need to replace your storage necessarily. It means you can enhance your storage performance with solid state memory in the server instead of in the storage.
So it's taking out the top 25 of IOPS and put it on SSD or accelerate it, and the other machines will run longer at the same storage array.
That's exactly right. The real challenge, of course, is making sure that you're getting the right data onto that SSD, and that's the job of our software.
So is this product targeted at all server loads, or is it primarily used as a view solution or a VDI solution?
That's a good question. Really, the use cases are all over the map. So we have customers using this for VDI. We have customers using it for server virtualization. We have customers that are data center operators that are basically provisioning virtual machines to their customers for their use. We also have customers that are very small, educational institutions, municipalities, the kind of folks that are very concerned about and very budget conscious. And then we have large enterprises that are looking at very extensive rollouts across hundreds or thousands of VMware hosts.
Great, many thanks for the interview.
I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.